Hey guys, we are live. Thank you for joining me. This is a special last-minute impromptu edition of Calm Belly TV. So if you are new to me, I'm Julie O'Hara and my website is calmbellykitchen.com. I'm a health coach who specializes in helping women manage IBS with the FODMAP diet and without deprivation, okay? You do not have to suffer, you do not have to be hungry, and you do not have to eat bland, boring food to get your belly under control and do the FODMAP diet, okay? So that is my mission. And today I'm here because I wanted to answer some questions about portion sizes that I didn't get to cover in my live workshop last night. So if you're part of the Facebook group or part of the community, I did a free online workshop all about portion sizes and menu planning strategies to help you deal with different situations and have a greater variety of food on the FODMAP diet, because that can be one of the most confusing parts about doing the elimination phase, and it's one of the parts that takes longer to really figure out and iron out. You know, people say, oh, you can be done with the elimination phase in 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, and that's only if you've got all this stuff sorted. So that workshop was to help you sort it out. But there were a couple questions posted by people in the Facebook group that I forgot to answer. And okay, so I asked you guys in the Tuesday question if you had stuff you wanted me to cover about portion sizes. And I wrote it all down, and I had it on my notepad next to me when I was doing the live workshop, and I was going to answer them in the Q&A. And because it was like sort of next to my computer, and I had like a computer and a phone and lights and 12 windows open, I just totally forgot all about it. So I apologize, and I want to answer your questions today. So first, I also want to remind you that my group program, Flat Belly Kitchen, is having early bird pricing, but it ends tonight, January 13th, good old spooky Friday the 13th. It ends tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. So Flat Belly Kitchen is the 6-week group coaching program that guides you through the elimination phase in 6 weeks. So no matter where you are, whether you're brand new to this diet or you've been sort of in this elimination phase limbo kind of zone for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. I've had it all. I've had that whole range of people in my program. And it's for you if you want to just spend 6 weeks doing the elimination phase, learning all about it, learning all about your body, and not just how FODMAPs affect it, but how everything affects your digestion, and be at the point where you know you're done with the elimination phase and you can move on. And that's what Flat Belly Kitchen does for you, all the while helping you eat really tasty food, because that's incredibly important to me. Okay, so go to calmbellykitchen.com. Actually, I'll put the link below this video because that's not the exact page for Flat Belly Kitchen. Sorry about that. But you can get it from my website, but I'll put the link below just to make it super easy. Because if you would like to sign up for that program, we start on January 22nd, and the early bird price ends tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, all right? So check it out. Okay, so let me get to the questions about portion sizes, all right? So if you missed the live workshop, it was great. People emailed me and left so many nice comments, and they said they learned a lot, things that they hadn't really realized before. So there just might, maybe, perhaps be an encore of that workshop next week. So watch the Facebook group if you're in the Facebook group, watch your email, because there's maybe going to be an encore. There's going to be an encore, okay? So you'll have a chance to catch that if you didn't catch the one last night. All right, so there were some great questions, and I'm pulling them up right here on my computer. So when I'm talking about the importance of portion sizes, I'm talking about foods that are low FODMAP, but that you can't just eat with reckless abandon. And some of you may be like, what is she talking about? But if you've been doing this for a little while, you know that fresh produce, while it's so healthy and we want to eat it and we want to be healthy, can be really problematic to deal with, because you start to realize that all those fresh salads and fruits that you love to eat, that you've been told you should eat because they're so healthy, they're some of the hardest foods to digest, even the low FODMAP ones. So you not only have to watch out for FODMAPs, but you have to manage your portion sizes of even low FODMAP foods. And a lot of people learn just different ways that their body handles food. You might learn that you can eat small meals more frequently, or that you have to kind of keep your fruits and your veggies earlier in the day because it's easier to digest. There's all sorts of things that you can learn and different strategies you can use. So that's what I'm talking about when I say the importance of portion sizes. All right, so the first question I had that I missed answering last night is sometimes, okay, so now I'm quoting the question, sometimes I'm still hungry after eating the portioned food, so I'm wondering what good filler foods would be, so if you're still hungry. So my answer to this question is that you have to, I think you're missing, or you can eat more food, basically. So what you're asking me is like the foods that are on the Monash app, and that's the app that tells you what foods are high in low FODMAP and how much of it you should eat. So you're eating those foods, and you can eat more than one serving of a low FODMAP food in a single meal. So let's look at an example to make it even easier, okay? So they say on the app that a serving of spinach is 1 cup. I'm almost positive that's right. Don't quote me on that, but I don't have it in front of me. But let's say a serving of spinach is 1 cup. That doesn't mean you can have 1 cup of spinach in a day. That doesn't mean you can have 1 cup of spinach at the meal. You could have 2 cups of spinach at the meal. So if you even look at their guidelines, if you like click on spinach and you read it, it will say you can eat, the FODMAP diet is designed so that you can eat multiple servings of green light foods per day and also per meal. Now, the caveat is that sometimes you're going to find that your body maybe only can handle 1 to 2 servings of veggies per meal, or maybe 1 veggie and 1 fruit, or it depends on, maybe in the evening you can only handle 1 serving of raw vegetables. And I will also say cooked vegetables are easier to eat than raw. But so with this question, it's saying like you're eating, just a cup of spinach and then maybe you're eating some chicken or some rice, I don't know. But if you're still hungry, you can eat multiple servings of low FODMAP foods. It's absolutely fine. If you start to run into problems, then you can make changes. But there really are no, filler foods. Some of the foods that are low in FODMAPs are proteins. All proteins, as long as they're not seasoned with FODMAPs, they don't have any FODMAPs, okay? They're proteins. Fats don't have any FODMAPs. So, if you need more calories, if you're kind of worried about losing weight, add healthy oils to your meals, or nuts or seeds, because those are really nutrient dense. Let's see what else. Some vegetables have virtually no FODMAPs. If you look at the Monash app, one example is carrots. It'll actually say right there, no FODMAPs were detected in this food. It says the same thing for potatoes. Now, that doesn't mean you can eat a bucket of potatoes. That just might not sit well with you. Something else in the potatoes might, your body might not like it on a given day. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to radically, take away all this food. It's not about that. You just have to avoid the high FODMAP foods and avoid serving sizes that are high in FODMAPs. That's really your starting point. And try to simplify would be my advice and answer to that question. Okay. So the next question was, in a big pot of vegetable soup, how do you figure out portions of vegetables? That's a really great question. It's really practical too. So my answer is, is that you kind of estimate, okay? And the serving sizes for all these vegetables on the Monash app, they are guidelines. They are a starting point. The scientists at Monash who are creating these guidelines aren't saying that, well, Julie will be totally safe if she eats 12 green beans, and so will Susie, who is 6 feet tall, and so will Randy, who is 4'8". Randy's a really small guy. And, so we're all different people, and all our bodies are different, and we all have kind of different forms of IBS, right? It manifests in different ways. So their portions are guidelines. And so what that means for you is that if you make a pot of soup and you want to make sure that it includes 1 serving of spinach in your bowl. So your soup, let's go through this. Your soup is going to serve 4 people. So if each serving is going to have a cup of spinach, you're going to add 4 cups. When the soup is all done cooking, you're going to take about 1/4 of that soup, and that's your serving, no problem. Now let's say you also have carrots and potatoes in that soup. You know, you measure out, you know, divide it by 4, and it's okay if you're not down to the perfection of 1 gram. Hi, Marge, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I did things a little bit differently today. Good to see you. Okay, so you can estimate is my answer. And if you're looking for, you know, a FODMAP expert coach person who is going to tell you these strict down to the last gram rules, I am not that person. So my approach is to make this really practical and manageable in your day-to-day life, and it is really all a guideline, and you learn what works for your body, and that's what gives you so much knowledge and power really at the end of the day. Okay, the next question is, I think I just have 1 or 2 more questions, 2 more. When eating in the day and doing portions, does that mean if I have a cup of lettuce for lunch, I can't have a cup of lettuce for dinner? So can I just have 1 cup a day or multiple? Okay, so this question comes up constantly. It's a great question. You can have it multiple times a day. So if you're eating a low FODMAP serving of anything, you can have that multiple times a day. If it's a food where it contains FODMAPs, like let's say, back to spinach, I don't know, eggplant, okay? You love eggplant. You want to eat eggplant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because you love it. You can have a low FODMAP serving for breakfast, lunch, and then again at dinner. It should be absolutely fine. And now, if you find that your body's, you know, ironically just so sensitive to your favorite food, eggplant, then you're going to have to modify it. But in theory, and the way that the diet is created, you should be able to have it multiple times a day. So yes, you can have it, it's a serving per sitting, okay? But, you know, like I said, if you love eggplant and you should be able to have 2 servings of low FODMAP vegetables in a meal. That's not a crazy thing to do. But if you want those 2 servings to be both eggplant, try it and see. As long as you're under that limit where eggplant, you know, if you have so much eggplant, you end up being high FODMAP. As long as you stay under that, you should be fine. So those are based on the guidelines. Okay. And finally, I had a question about emotional eating, and I really like this question because so many of us deal with it, and it's something that I think, well, I mean, I don't want to like gender bias women, but we're emotional, right? Women are emotional, and it comes up in a lot of instances. But when you have IBS, that's an emotional thing to have to deal with, and then when you're doing this new diet and it's very overwhelming and it's very all-encompassing, and you have to change so many things about your life and the way you eat and the way you cook and the way you shop and the way you dine, you know, out in the world, it's very emotional. And so the question was raised, like, someone's trying to keep their portion sizes at reasonable levels, but emotional eating kind of is derailing her. And my best advice for that, it is not glamorous, quick fix, sexy advice. Beating emotional eating is about creating a habit. So over time, you do the best you can, and eventually you are going to build up the habit of being able to control your emotional eating. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect all the time, but over time, it's just trying to do your best every single day. And if you keep that up and you do a good job more than you do a bad job, I mean, not that you're bad, but if you do it, if you reach your goal more than you don't, eventually that is going to become a habit, and it just becomes easier. That's the key. So the more you practice it, the more you're able to confront it and deal with it and look at what's causing it. The more practice, the more your tolerance increases, the easier it gets. So that is my advice for emotional eating. It is not a quick fix, and I feel you, lady. I totally get it. But that's the way to do it. And there are other little strategies. When you feel that stress coming on, you need to do things that don't involve food. You need to distract yourself. You need to manage stress. That's one huge thing. So there are other strategies, but the overall way to beat it is by building up the habit over time. All right, so those are my answers for your portion control questions. And again, if you missed that online workshop last night. There is going to be an encore next week, so watch your email, watch the Facebook group. Yeah, if you missed it, you definitely want to catch the next one. And finally, Flat Belly Kitchen, the early bird price is going away tonight, and then after 10 p.m. tonight, the price goes up by $50, and we start the program on January 22nd. We will get you through the elimination phase in 6 weeks, and you will be ready to move forward. So we all have time, but time is a resource that diminishes. So where do you want to be in 6 weeks? That's the question. And you can save $50. So check it out. Check out Flat Belly Kitchen. And I hope to see you at my workshop next week. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. All right, guys. Bye.